Guess what? In Kenya, right now, a welder is very low level according to us, right?
Jamaa kuchomelea.
Good.
Yeah.
But now, when tallow oil, a multinational, is importing from Dubai, what then do we need to say? These people here in Kenya who already have basic skills in welding, plumbing, all we need is to upskill
them. He already knows how to weld.
Industrial grade.
Kuchomelea chuma.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And also start wording this differently to our youth. Instead of us making these occupations look so low level or like they don't matter.
Welcome back to my channel and please subscribe. The amazing woman I am with today is Lynette Mwende Ndile. We do not want anybody complaining jinyake iliachwa. And we're talking TVET, and she wants to talk to teachers, and she is, without doubt, you are a TVET evangelist.
Yes.
Gosh, and you're so young. She's a TVET champion, but I think for me, the TVET queen. Africa needs to listen to you, but we'll start with Kenya. I don't have a problem. And you and I were talking about Tim Cook and skill.
Yes.
And you know, in this article, and I'll make sure that you all get it and I'll boost it. I'm happy to boost this one. China is more than just a source of low cost. It isn't that anymore. It's a source of high skilled labor.
Right.
But you wanted to tell me something about just that thing I talked about.
I wanted to mention about that skill set. What it means is precision, accuracy.
Yes.
And that's why I'm talking about competency. You might have
the ability to put components together.
Yes.
But do you have the precision?
Yeah. Are you precise?
Okay.
So I'm from a technical background. So my first degree, which is my undergrad, I did aeronautical engineering.
Yes.
That is what took me to China. Now, what I want to talk about is the curriculum in the technical training. Why I advocate for TVET is there's a more hands-on approach. This enables young people to build that accuracy and to become competent.
Yes. Whereas
in university, although they can coexist, you find that it is more geared towards theoretical learning.
Of course.
So you end up not being competent, and then young people become frustrated while they leave as graduates and the job market or industry is saying you still don't have skill. And you're thinking, but I learned this for 4 years.
Kwanza niko na degree.
Yes.
Yes.
But you're not competent.
Yes.
So back to now the iPod.
Yes.
That precision that allows you to be able to get high quality products and goods means the people working on this, they're so well, like they're skilled, so well trained. They're so well trained that they're accurate and precise. So I had to manufacture or produce a hammer when I was studying in China. And that meant constantly being in a workshop, Saturdays 8 to 6 p.m. My learning was mostly spent in a factory-like setup. So we are learning in a system where it's like a dual education system. You're really not in the theoretical class.
You're not always in a book.
Applying. So I go to class, yes, I get the theory, but I'm more in application of what I'm learning. So by the time I'm done, I have actually a skill that I can walk to industry and, you know, kind of apply myself. This is also in Germany. So Germany has a really good TVET system because it's a dual education. You're learning in class, but you're going to industry. For them, it's actually industry, like real factories, private companies take on these young people at an early stage, early ages. So by the time they're done with school, this young person is not only sure about the area they want to specialize in, because they've been oriented by going to company, by having that industry linkage. And that's where you talked about where we're going wrong. I want to also answer that. That industry linkage is very critical in our youth.
Okay.
If we expose them at an early stage, then we're not going to keep telling them, you don't have skills, you don't have relevant skills. Young people are depressed.
Yes.
Despairing. Because you told me if I go to uni, then I'm good. But now they come with the degrees at home and you're telling them I can't employ you because you're not skilled enough. What we need to tell them is go and become competent through TVET.
Through TVET.
You can acquire skills and develop your skills to become competent. We have basic skills and we have industrial grade skills. That is what Tim Cook is talking about. Industrial grade.
Yes.
It produces high quality. It produces accurate, precise. It makes you become
over and over and over again. So if I'm to understand what you're saying, even for you for aeronautical engineering, you were not sitting in a classroom all the time with a book and then your exams were only from that. You spent your Saturdays in a factory.
Yes.
Proper. Yes. Understanding how something is made.
Yes.
So what you need us to understand, first I'll speak to young people because, you know, they have to unlearn the idea of, but I want a white collar job.
Yes.
Yes. And then of course there is parents and educators.
Yes.
Who is the other people we have to talk to. What do you need a young person to know when it comes to just TVET and getting skills? Skills and precision.
Good.
Yeah.
So for the youth, I want them to know that they're new or emerging occupations in new sectors.
Yes.
Look at it, ICT, we've mentioned them, manufacturing, all this, the basic line, underlying factor is skills.
Yes.
Skill sets.
Yes.
As we speak, existing workforce needs to retrain because industries are adjusting to this new technological revolution. That adjustment will either mean two things for the youth: redundancy or opportunity.
There you go. There you go.
That's it.
That's it.
If you align yourselves well, that means you develop a skill and competence. You're good to go. But for as long as we remain in this place of we don't have skills, skills that are required, let's also be very categorical.
Very clear. They are needed.
Relevant, practical skills that we can apply.
Yes.
Then that is going to really harm us.
Yes.
Remember, our huge demographic lies with the youth.
Yes.
So again, I go back to the tripartite agreement. The youth cannot do this alone.
No.
And I was talking about the teachers because you are our educators. If you're constantly hammering that a young person needs to go to university and get a degree, my take is simple. I will build my skills and not my resume. Going to a university means getting a degree and getting a resume. But in essence, it will only lead to more young people leaving the academia with nothing.
Yes.
And that's why they become depressed.
Yes.
Because you told them, go to uni. They fulfilled the end of their bargain.
Of their bargain.
Yeah. But now
where's
you're
yours?
saying, I'm saying I have my degree as you told me. But now you're saying you turn around and tell them, but your degree is not worth employment because you don't have skill. So come back and now tell them while they are in school, get skills.
Get skills.
And even if you go to Open Day, now this is where the teacher conversation is. If Lynette was to go and talk to the secondary school students particularly, because they're the ones who are able to choose their career choices now. If I go there and tell them, do you know there's this thing called TVET? Government has actually created that enabling environment, equipping technical training institutions with the aim of having 290 technical institutions around Kenya.
Yes.
One in each constituency, meaning infrastructure has been laid.
Yes.
We have now the new curriculum, CBET, competency-based education. We've put in place, even from a policy perspective, what needs to be done for the youth to thrive. But they cannot go to technical training institutions for as long as their teachers are saying, go to uni, get a degree,
because
and that's all that matters.
That's
That's all that matters, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So our teachers, again, is it possible for you to demystify emerging occupations, share that the sectors that are growing, look at our Vision 2030, Big Four agenda, two critical pillars, housing and manufacturing, is going to be only enabled through TVET.
It can't be done
training
by people like me.
And technicians and skilled labor. And when we say against skilled labor,
and it can't be just labor.
I was going to say that.
It has to be skilled labor.
Yes. And again, we need the last part to do, change our attitude and mindset.
Thank you.
With all this being done by government, curriculums, we have the TVET Act whereby the education reforms are hinged on, and Vision 2030, which talks about acquiring relevant skills and knowledge. It all is all in one. TVET Act talking about rules and regulations for young people to be able to be skilled. Our Vision 2030, our Big Four agenda, all of this are talking about skills if you listen and listen well.
And listen well.
But they can keep talking. But as long as our
attitude,
educators,
but also our attitude,
our parents, and our own attitude is not aligned, then it's all
It's
going
all
to
talk.
be amiss. Exactly.
It's all talk.
But do you again blame the youth by having this mindset of university? Well, right now, to gain social status, you're still asking somebody, so where did you school in? If I don't mention a university, already I'm a lower class. That's the fact. So youth are also, they're young. They also want to be at a good
aspirational
status.
Yes.
So another thing, our social mobility comes in place. If we're still conditioning ourselves to think having the papers again, the degrees is the only way to get
skills.
a ticket to become in the right social status. Yes, then our youth still will not go for TVET.
No, they won't.
So again, our attitude, our behavioral approach in all this matters most.
Okay.
Teachers, during open day, you know very well you have 2 or 3 students who are the only ones who are going to get that C+ to university.
Yes.
Yet your bulk does not have the qualification even for university.
Yes.
But you're still saying you have to go to uni. You're doing the youth a great injustice. That's why I said I need to say something to the teachers.
Yes.
Because you have our students with you for many years and you're still hammering the need to go to uni. Never at once will you talk about TVET. How then will they pursue technical training?
But also you must remember it's a factor of the fact that that same teacher doesn't know better.
Right.
And when you know better, you can do better.
True.
But also, I mean, and I'm glad we're talking about those school career days and open days. It still shocks me that career day is in 4th form.
Yes.
It is one of the, I'm sorry, but this is my channel. It's the daftest thing in the world. Career day needs to happen, an open day in Form 1. It allows that person to begin thinking through what it is they believe they want to be. So and I've said this in a different platform, that it still shocks me that when I'm asked to speak at an open day or a career day, in a private school setting, I'm speaking to 13 and 14-year-olds because they can start off by thinking they want something, but over 4 years they realize, But you see, you have time to change your mind, adapt, but also think through it. When I go to a public school, I'm talking to 4th formers. They're already 17, they've already filled out paperwork. Excuse you?
And that happened to us. So at Ujana Africa, we're advocating for this demand-driven skills.
Yes.
So we are going to secondary schools because that's where they have to make the decision from. And we've realized that honestly the youth don't even know about technical training. At all. So if you don't know about this, how then will you get developed in a skill? You don't even know that you need to be trained to become competent. You only know about university. So that's why I'm saying they can coexist. I needed to go to university for my master's in public policy. So I'm not against university learning. But I'm saying the future of work, really, when you look at it, with all this AI and automation, we need skills. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
That's the point. So they do need to go for technical training. They do need to go to technical training institutions. But unfortunately, that information is not being disseminated by the people who should. And
as early as
Form 1.
As Form 1. I mean, and I'm going to sing this until you get it.
Yes.
Career day is not for 4th formers.
Right.
It is for 1st formers, because the next 4 years is about building up to this dream career you want, no matter what it will be.
Yes.
But it just, and you know, I remember a couple of years ago, and this drive was tiring because I had to go up to St. Andrew's Turi. So these 13, 14-year-olds who do business, you know, that's their course, you know, want to understand, so this job you do, how does it work?
Right.
So I work through the time bands and how, you know, programming is created and how rate cards, you know, for media created, what is prime time. And then this boy looks at me and asks me a question. He said, so if the highest time band is when you're on air, why doesn't your boss keep you on air until 11?
And you're like, wow.
Because he had done the maths and he was like, wait a minute, you start at 6, you finish at 9. Can't they make a little more money out of you?
Imagine.
But that is now my problem, that he wasn't even interested in what I did. He had heard the business argument.
And wanted the money part of it.
The money part of it.
Yes.
I would never get a question like that. And I'm sorry, in a public school, do you know what I'm asked? And especially when I was on air, do you have a social life? When do you sleep? And I'm like, 9:30, I have to be up at 4. Oh, so do you go out?
Is this really what
Is this really what we should be talking about? You're 16. What do you care?
Right.
You can't go out, I'd like to believe, you know?
True.
But, you know, it's also the educators and parents as well. changing how we view work.
And that's why I'm saying the mindset right now is a critical part of it. Young people, once they've done that mindset shift, you find people asking about now the gig economy. How can I be able to use my skills, work 3 jobs? Right now we have content developers. We're in the Internet of Things. So as I said, emerging occupations.
Yes.
This information, is it being given, as you're saying, to public schools? Are they being told with your skills you can actually have livelihoods that give you satisfaction?
Yes.
That's number one. Because we also need them to have a fulfilling life, not only, you know, chasing money, but also, is this what you wanted and you nurtured it over time and now you're satisfied contributing in this economy through that?
A couple of years ago, I remember the first time Jeff ever interviewed me, and this is when he used to sit at the Fairview, and I realized it was Jeff and his cameraman was called Eric. So it was 3 cameras, 1 guy. I was like, wait. And they would record and edit, and that thing would be up by what? 8:30 in the evening. But you know what you're used to? The crane, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Where's camera? Oh, there's the... No. And I realize now as you're speaking, Eric was among the first who was all about his skills.
Exactly.
1 guy, 3 cameras, he's got this.
Skill.
Jeff, now, yeah, you're in that studio that Washira has given you that has got, do you also have the crane?
But it's all about skills,
True.
to be honest.
It is.
And as we're saying, industries are adjusting.
They are.
They're adjusting, and the transformation will mean so many people might be locked out.
True.
Because they don't have skills
But
that are
more
aligned.
Will come in because they understand its skills.
Yes.
Yes.
And businesses right now, if they can invest in our youth, because we also need a call to action, invest in our youth so that they can be able also to reciprocate.
Yes.
You're trying to meet these margins. If they have skills, they can allow you to expand your business. And I was talking about the history. And when you see how us Kenyans were geared to, you know, replace the colonialists in the white collar jobs, there's so many people, and this is from the Ministry of Education, just sharing how our mindset is really very powerful. Back in the day where there was only Kenya Poly, now it's the Technical University of Kenya, they even mentioned there was this Indian family. Their children really got really high grades in Form 6 then. And instead of them going for university and white collar, they decided to build their skills and take over their family business.
Yes.
So one child did building and civil engineering. Now he's expanded that family business. One of these big firms is in building and construction. And number 2, the other one went for automotive engineering, which is just repairing cars and all of that, right? But if you look at young Kenyans right now, do you know we don't even have our youth who are even competent enough to be able to actually become developers or contractors? We still hire foreign firms. Yet, Kenya is growing, and all around us
is everybody else.
And exactly, and all around us you see buildings coming up. But if our young people already don't have skills, at the level of, I'm not talking about managerial level, because you find Kenyans doing the supervisory work, and our engineering, because as I said, it's so much theory,
it's so much
you can only manage and supervise, but you really don't know the in-depth of this.
And we're upset that our roads and our airports and our construction is done by others.
Exactly. So now, as you mentioned,
we don't have the skill.
Where can Kenya really rightfully or strategically position itself? It's really building the skills in our youth for them to really take over and be active players in this industrial revolution. But we need the government, we need the industry to come on board, and individuals take a proactive approach.
Mindset.
Exactly.
Mindset.
As we said, all this need to work together.
Yes.
If they're not working together, then
we're all talking.
Yes, we can't really get to that place where we say, wow, our youth are competent. The youth that have already left the academia and gone ahead, just take them and retrain them.
Yes.
Don't lock them out of industry because they don't possess skills. And the ones that are still in school, let's allow them to change their mindset. Tell them about these big projects that are coming up. When you look at even the Northern Corridor project, you're seeing East Africa as a community doing projects in infrastructure, in energy. Are we telling that to young people in school? No. So they still are growing up talking about the old jobs,
literally
and occupations.
their grandfather's aspirations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we're not telling them about emerging occupations.
No.
We're not telling them about the sectors that are growing. And we're not telling them that there is shortage in talent. We're not telling them that there's a lot of skills instability. If you tell them that, then they will change also.
Yes, because they see the opportunity, and they're young.
If
they're young. The person who has a problem is anybody who's like 55, like Yosiwezi.
Yes.
But a 16-year-old will be like, okay, if that's what it takes, that's what it's going to be.
So feeding that right information, telling them where the future of work lies in, and telling them what you do now is to align yourself. We talk about strategy. If you're 16, you have time to align yourself to become competent.
Yes.
In whatever. If it's in digital creation, whatever it is.
True.
Being a content creator, that's okay. We don't need to look down on these jobs.
No.
If it's going to TVET, if you need to go to TVET to get a skill, then do it. Don't care about this whole degree thing anymore. And also in those TVET...
And she has said it. Do you know people are scared to say that?
Yes.
People are scared to say that.
Yes.
And once in a while they'll share an article out of, an Amazon or a Google that says, we don't hire degrees anymore. They're like, oh, guy.
Yes, yeah. Why can't we bring it home?
Yes.
So Ernst & Young, I remember there's a time they've said we're not looking at academic qualifications in interviews.
Yes.
So if this is one of the big four, right? They're saying that, but in Kenya we're still
like
degree.
Wachana na watu. Wewe fanya hivi, wewe pata A-, alafu tuongee.
And then when I get it, and time for kuongea, you want to tell me, but you don't have a skill. You're really doing injustice to the youth.
Yes.
You're telling them get a degree, they get it, and then you turn back and say you don't have skills. So the point is, talk to them about skills development right from the onset. Allow them to go and get skills, become competent. Remember, we're talking about what Tim Cook said.
Yes.
It's about your precision, high quality goods. How do we get to that high quality place?
He talks, and it's a fantastic article.
Yes.
And he says, when he doesn't talk about the iPod, he says, China has moved into very advanced manufacturing. So you find in China the intersection of craftsman kind of skill and sophisticated robotics. And the computer science world, he says that intersection is very rare to find anywhere.
Right.
That kind of skill is very important to our business.
Exactly.
I mean, I watched him, and then I went and I looked for because I'm one of those people who's got to read it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was shared
it. And it's the first, and then remember we had lunch and I said, I get why to keep talking about TVET.
Yes. And one thing that also we need to talk about is that whole thing that I was talking about, industrial grade. It's not about basic skill.
No, this is industrial grade.
So what happens
It's your phone. Well, mine too.
Yes.
But, it's Tim Cook, so it's your phone.
Exactly. So when you went to do your oil and gas certificate, let's go back to that. What was happening is they're trying to give you that skill that allows you to really be at the heart of this new emerging sector.
Yeah.
But did you notice that when, I think you went to Talo, right? And when they're doing exploration, unfortunately, and this is a sad reality, they were importing welders and plumbers. But guess what?
Especially welders.
And guess what? In Kenya, right now, a welder is very low level according to us, right?
Jamaa kuchomelea.
Good.
Yeah.
But now, when Talo Oil, a multinational, is importing from Dubai, what then do we need to say? These people here in Kenya who already have basic skills in welding, plumbing, all we need is to upskill
them. He already knows how to weld.
Industrial grade.
Kuchomelea chuma.
Right.
Yes.
And also start wording this differently to our youth. Instead of us making these occupations look so low level or like they don't matter. They're the drivers of our economy right now. We're trying to be a manufacturing hub.
How are we going to do that when we don't have skills and precision?
Exactly. So let's stop importing the laborers and build what we have. Whatever we have is basic, but let's allow businesses to take over, retrain the youth. I really am an advocate of
I can
youth.
tell. I kept telling you she's the evangelist for TVET.
Take these young people, instead of shunning them away, just retrain them.
Yes.
Invest in your human capital. Because in Africa, one thing we have, and we don't know, our resources lie with our people. And who are these people? Our huge demographic is the youth. So instead of us bashing them, letting them become depressed and, very... they've given up.
They've given up.
And unfortunately, it has led to all this crime rate and all of that.
Everything.
Let's not even go into that. But let's retrain them, give them opportunities for reskilling and upskilling. And that is what we're doing at Ujana Africa.
Yes.
Trying to create that industry linkage by talking to private sector and saying, you know, young people, instead of them leaving school and being, you know, just idle, can they be absorbed by industry? So again, advocating and talking to government to really facilitate that industry linkage between private sector and academia. Let the youth leave they leave school,
yes,
and be absorbed by the industry. Every year, almost half a million Kenyans.
All of us can't be bankers. Whoa,
exactly,
yeah.
That's the point.
Yes.
And there's automation. We've talked about AI.
Yes.
Automation of banking sector. It's already ongoing. Look at banks. They're merging.
Yes.
There are no too many branches anymore. They're
Nope.
merging because of automation. So can our youth then be trained in automation?
Yes, because
That's
we
the
all
point.
can't sit and say, siku hizi hakuna makazi.
Exactly.
Maybe not the one you're looking for.
That's the point. Emerging occupations, they're there. These other ones, they'll be declared, yes, redundant. But there's opportunity and limitless opportunities if we can look at it that way for our youth.
You know her, you need to find her. She's a TVET evangelist. I mean, there are lunches where she goes on and on. I'm like, am I paying for this? but it has taken me a moment to find the space in which you can talk about this. Because I'm also aware that there's some people who won't come to the table right away, and there's some people who will hear you and the penny will drop. And when they call, please go see them.
I shall.
Because in 5 to 10 years, my daughter is 8, I am very aware that the job she will do does not exist yet.
True.
I'm very aware.
And even if it does, it's at very,
it's at a technical level.
Yes. And she needs to really train and
for that. Yes.
And one thing, even in Ujana Africa, it's a youth serving but youth-led organization. So even the youth right now already know we need skills. So when we're going there, the team is so passionate about this. So we're really going out to advocate for demand-driven skills. Why are you aligning yourself to things that are not demanded for?
Because it's cute.
Exactly. We need
it's nice.
So
it's
our
good
mindset.
for the gram.
Yes, exactly. So call to action is shifting our mindset.
Yes. And then reskilling.
Allowing our parents and teachers to also talk about the right thing in the household, talk about skills. I was just having a conversation, about the geologists right now in Kenya. When they leave university, they don't even have teams because there are no technical personnel to work with them. But you see your child playing with the soil, and instead of you telling him, actually there are good jobs if you develop a skill. It's simple, but it's the way we are cultured, how we're brought up. We're not being told about that. And finally, for the females also, these technical fields are not only for males,
men.
Because that is also something that kind of did not persuade me, dissuaded me to go into aeronautics. Because it was so male dominated that I remember when I was coming home for internship, the first time I went to an airline, just not to mention, they actually came out all shouting, "It's a girl." So can you imagine? I was scarred for life, and that means we actually need also to encourage all gender, female and male alike,
to get into skill-based industry.
Research this. They say males make the best chefs, while females make the best pilots. Did you know that?
Captain Mutungi, we see you.
Yes. So all I'm saying is let's also encourage our daughters, our sisters to pursue technical training. It's something that anyone can benefit from.
At the end of the day, it's about doing a job that you said gives you joy.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And as Lynette, I'm also reskilling. I'm learning on data analytics, which is so hard. I shiver just by hearing the word coding. But I remember the future of work lies in these things.
Yes.
So I'm reskilling. How about you? I know you're reskilling.
Yes, I have to.
So let's all reskill and unlearn what we've learned.
Unlearn is my big thing.
Right.
Start by unlearning.
Exactly.
Find her. She is a TVET evangelist. If I let her, she will be here until sundown.
Yes.
Yeah, well, sun up. So, but thank you. And I know you know that this message will take a minute to percolate.
Yes, I do.
You do.
Yes.
Fine.
We're patient.
You're patient?
Yes, Ujana Africa is here forever.
Yes, you're patient.
Yes.
She's ready when you are. That's what she's saying. Subscribe and thank you.
Oh,
thank you so much.